Thanks, guys, so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Brad.
whoa. What are you running? What are those specs? This whole setup looks awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I got to watch the first 2 episodes and I am dying for more. You guys are fantastic in this. But I want to start with you, Amir. Can you talk about bringing like the ADHD aspect in here? Because I think a lot of people can relate to that.
I mean, yeah. I have a friend with ADHD. So just kind of micro analyzing him and also doing a lot of research, reading like posts and articles about people who have ADHD. Just like talking about what goes on through their everyday life, certain triggers they might have, and then things like that. It really helped out a lot because I don't have ADHD myself, so I wanted to make sure that I accurately portrayed that.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. I know several people with ADHD and just even the little like mannerisms, the shaking of the leg. I was like, man, this really feels like you have ADHD. So great job. And Jalyn, for you, what can you talk about like the balance of the passion? I read ahead a little bit of the synopsis, so I know something that's gonna come up, and I know it's a little spoilery, but I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. But can you kind of just talk about bringing that to your character?
It's very interesting to be able to have this playground of possibility. So incorporating different things like what you'll be seeing, it's an opportunity. It's also an honor. I don't know what I could say. You got to tiptoe around.
Yeah,
Giving
I
up the
know.
spoilers or anything. But yeah, but that it's gonna be great. People are gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. And what was it, I guess, for both of you and Amir, if you want to start, that really drew you to want to be a part of this project?
I mean, for me, it was basketball, but it was also the brotherhood between JB and Filthy that really drew me to this. Like literally, the moment I got the audition, I was so excited about it just because I felt like I related to both of them so much. So yeah, that's what drew me to the script.
I would say the overall dynamic, the story was amazing, first off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dynamic of the friends, the family, the brotherhood.
Yeah.
You can just see, when something's going to be gold and when you're going to have a good experience doing it. And I just felt great vibes from it. The universe was talking to me and I was talking back and I was like, this is going to be great. And it was marvelous. It was something that I didn't even know it could be.
I love it. And you guys' relationship, like it feels like you're brothers. Like I would have immediately thought, oh, they're brothers. How much time did you guys get to spend together before you started filming, or did you at all?
Me and Jalyn, we had known each other. I'm sorry, were you gonna take that, Jay?
No.
I'm gonna say me and Jalyn, we knew each other prior to filming, so we had already knew each other, had hung out a few times. But when we got the audition and when we got the part, it just clicked instantly. We had a lot of time to spend together since we had to do, training, but also just us hanging out on our own, just like calling him to hang out and chop it up, play on the game together, all these different things. We had a lot of time to really get to know each other, but it wasn't really forced at all. It was really natural. We just clicked.
And then for both of you and Jalyn, if you want to go first, did you guys read the book ahead of time, like before auditions? Had you read it before?
Yes, we did. That was kind of the blueprint, the manual, if you will. So we I had that in the back of my mind the entire time. But it's also crucial to show them what's written and then throw your spin on it as well, because 9 times out of 10 with creativity, it can make something even better. And I feel like that's what we both did. And they saw the potential to make these already amazing characters and this amazing story 10 times better.
I mean, I loved it. It's such a good book, and I read it for the audition and to prepare for JB. But like I said, it's one of my favorite books. I feel like it's really well written. The way Kwame incorporated poetry and basketball and just such a almost like a heartbreaking story. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, and the poetry really comes through, at least in the 2 episodes that I've seen already. So I love how they're able to balance that. And thank you guys so much for your time. And fingers crossed for maybe a season 2, because I'm already hooked on this thing. Really enjoyed the first 2 episodes that we got yesterday. I'm hooked already and I can't wait for more. But I'd love to know from all of you, and if you want to start, Trevor, what really drew you to this project?
Yeah, so I read the book in middle school years before I got the audition. So when I got the audition, I was like, I remember this. This was awesome. So yeah, no, I was definitely drawn into that. And then also I've played basketball my entire life. It is my life. So being able to bring in my two passions, acting and basketball, into an amazing TV show, can't ask for anything better than that.
What drew me to this project was even just in the script. I had not read the book beforehand. But even just when I first got the script and I read it, I was like, this is so detailed and it's detail oriented. And you don't see that a lot now. You don't see a lot of, poetry in the lines or vivid imagery in the stage directions. So that's what really was like, this is different. This is something new. And I was excited to audition for it.
I definitely, just reading the sides in the audition, I felt the swagginess of this whole thing. And I'm huge on I don't know, I'm just very swag oriented, I guess. So it drew me to it, to where it's like, I was one of the, the girls, the homegirls.
Something I love about the show, just from the first 2 episodes that I saw, is that it feels like something that parents and children can watch together. And then especially, conversations can be had about certain things, because it's fun, but it's heavy at the same time. So Trevor, if you want to speak to that, maybe the importance of putting something together like that families can watch together.
Yeah, no, the show really shows the hardships that happen in families and what happens in friendships and relationships and all that. So it will relate to a lot of adults and kids who watch the show.
Yeah, I think this show is different than a lot of other shows in a way that it grabs in, younger kids from ages 5 to 7, but it could also grab in, the tween teens, that awkward stage, and give them something to relate to and be like, I feel this way. How can I, what can I do? What shouldn't I do? And, when you feel that way, and it also can, adults can watch this and really enjoy it. And it's so interesting to see how all of these different age groups can relate to this show.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot of hope and positivity, and it shows a positive African-American family going through what they're going through, but they're struggling through it together, and they're supporting each other, family and friends around them. And I think a lot of people will relate to this, and hope. I mean, hope is out there.
Yeah. I love the dynamic between all the friends. When you all get together, it seems like you're having so much fun. Was that kind of the vibe on set too, between all of you?
Yes.
Yes, 100%. Everything, all of the friendships you saw on the screen were totally natural, totally real. And yeah, because we had that relationship, and we don't have too many scenes where there's all 5 of us together. So when we do get together, it is just so much fun, and the energy is so vibrant and amazing.
Anybody else have anything to add? Oh, there you go.
The cool part that we were able to do is we were in a whole new state, and it was just us. So we were able to kind of explore this state together and create relationships through that. And I mean, if it was dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever it was, movie night, we were hanging out the whole time. And I don't know, Skyla said this before, I don't know if that's normal, because this is our first series regular. So we're like, are we supposed to be doing this? Well, whatever, we're going to do it anyways.
Are we supposed to really be friends? I don't know. And Trevor, do you have anything to add about that dynamic?
Yeah, it's kind of like what Deja was saying, is going to a completely new place. It's like going to a new school. You kind of have to build from the ground up. So we all kind of went from the ground up in New Orleans and working together, that we're now family.
Oh, I love it so much. So this is about so many things, but there's also a lot of focus on passion. So Trevor already answered this question, but the two of you, what are your actual passions?
My passion is acting. The moment I stepped on stage with a script in high school, I was like, it's a feeling I always say this, it's a feeling I can't describe. I don't know. I just knew I found my passion, and here I am, and it's exciting.
I think from a young age, I just knew that my passion was going to be industry related, whether that was TV, film, or musical theater, or singing or dancing, because I grew up in musical theater. I've done musical theater since I was 4 years old. So just being able to do all of these other things and not just putting my eggs in one basket, not just doing musical theater or just doing dancing or just singing, like being able to incorporate all of that into a project or a multitude of projects is just so amazing. And I'm looking forward to doing that more often.
I love it. And Trevor, you had said, acting and basketball are your passions, but do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. I always loved making people laugh. And when I was 8, 9 years old, that's when I knew I wanted to be an actor, because I watched the Jim Carrey movies, Ace Ventura and all that. And I was like, that is so awesome. The reactions that they get, like, I want to do that.
I got to see the first 2 episodes, and the way the second episode ended, I was like, I need more instantly. I'm like, why did you do this to me? Luckily, I have the screeners. I'm diving into them later. I can't wait for people to see this show. But I'd love to know what kind of drew you guys to this show. And Derek, if you want to go first.
Oh, I love the family organism and getting a chance to play that and, on screen. I was always, as a kid, in my imagination, always, just imagining because I grew up in a single mom household. And I think internally, I was always longing for a coach, a mentor. And so to be presented with a project where both parents are present, both parents are intelligent, have drive, have a passion, and and to be a part of that world. And I love the 2 boys, their coming of age story, and the actors Jalyn and Amir. So that's a period for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree though. It was when I first got the audition, it seemed fun. Very different than what I would have thought my first series regular would have been. And a lot of my friends too, like, really? Disney Plus? But seriously. So it was actually fun because I received it during the pandemic, and it was like, you know what? Yes, let's get something that's a bit lighter. And don't get me wrong, we go through our trials and tribulations on the show, as you kind of mentioned a bit, but it's definitely one filled with love. It's not filled with a bunch of struggle, which you normally see specifically for our community a lot of times. And so that drew me to the show. This is a upper middle class family, a double parent household family. I too grew up in a single parent household. Had a stepfather for a bit, but wasn't really present. So that's why I speak to it a lot, because you can be there and not be there all at the same time. So what are you doing while you're there? How present are you? And so all of those things drew me to the project.
Yeah. So as a mom who works, I love like the dynamic of what Crystal goes through, right? She's got to work, but still be a mom. And for her, she's literally working where her kids go to school. Can you talk about like just balancing that with your character?
Yes. I think that's very interesting to work where your kids, go to school. It's almost like, do you ever get a break? Are you always? But I think she kind of balances it well, like not too heavy-handed, during school times, but still there and still playing the mother role when needed. There's a scene later down the line you'll see where she goes from principal to mom, like in the same scene. But yeah, I think it's just creating a balance, a balance with it all. And I was very, very vocal about having a balance between her and Chuck. wanting that to be more of a partnership and not just, like you said, because we're both working, we both work 9 to 5. So if I come home and I got to take care of the household too, no, this is a team effort, So prayerfully we'll get to show more of that in second season.
Yes. Oh, I need a second season. I haven't even finished season 1 and I'm like, I already want a second season. I was so all in. And then Derek, same question for you, because, he's the coach and, he's the same exact thing, same balance.
Oh, well, we've been on this sort of this idea about the team. And like for me, like I remember my mom's words, like personally, me and my brother, we would laugh about it today, about how my mom was preparing us for marriage as a kid. And so like to take that note was, maybe one of the notes is, for young men, how important about choosing the right partner is. I think that's definitely a nuance, a character. And then, like to me, playing a coach, like it's fun. It's the combination of action, joy, drama, and shaping other kids' lives. I enjoy the possibility of being that emblem to kids in that demographic.
I got to watch the first 2 episodes and I'm hooked already. I can't wait for more, especially with that ending. I was like, come on, now I need to know what happens next. You guys are killing me. But for Kwame, what is it like to have your book like, hey, we're gonna make this a Disney Plus series of all places? Disney Plus, what's that like?
Well, first of all, I visit a lot of schools around the world, and when I say my TV show is coming on Disney Plus, I get a lot of cred, a lot of love. And so it feels good as a writer to not only see your work published in a book that many students are reading, but now to have a TV show where families get to watch around the world. It doesn't get better than this. I feel like this book has legs. It's taken on a whole nother life, and I'm excited to be able to live with it.
I love it so much. And so Kimberly and Damani, for you guys, how hard is it like adapting a book, knowing like things you have to include and things maybe you have to push to the side, or, evolving certain ideas?
It was definitely a juggling act, especially us having to navigate the poetry into the scenes. But once we got the groove and figured out, how to kind of make that happen, because that was something Damani and I hadn't really kind of done. We got in the groove and it took on a life of its own.
Yeah, no, I think our main thing was just don't mess it up, right? Like there's so much good stuff in there. Pick the right good stuff and you'll be fine.
I love it. So Kwame, for you, like how hands-on were you? Did you like go to the set? Did you help with casting, or did you just kind of say, you guys do what you got to do?
So I think some people may say I was a little too hands-on. I was a part of every, part of this process. As a co-showrunner, I was in the writer's room. I was on the set. I was weighing in on hair. I mean, so I really wanted to be a part of these 14-hour days down in that New Orleans heat. And I felt like I had something to contribute. And it turns out I had so much to learn from Damani and Kim. And I feel like I'm a much better writer now.
For you too, Kwame, like where did this inspiration come from for this story?
Here's what's funny. The idea for the book wasn't even my idea. It was a publisher who said, Kwame, we love your voice. You should write a book for kids about a boy who plays basketball, who's got a dad, maybe give him a brother, and it's about their family. And I was like, yes, great idea. And so it wasn't even my idea, but once I got that sort of motivation, then I was able to tap into, okay, what was the relationship like between me and my dad? And ultimately, how can I write a love letter to him and to fathers and sons? And so that's sort of where it started for me back in 2008, 2009.
And then for Kim and Damani, what was it about this story that just made you guys want to be a part of telling it?
My boys are huge fans of the book, but also the representation, and to have a show where I can sit with them and we can watch and we all take something different from it. That was absolutely important to me, coming onto the project.
Yeah, and just the heart and the joy that's inherent in the story. It inspires me. And so I wanted to help it inspire other people. Yeah.
And can you talk real quick about like the casting? Because this feels like the perfect cast. So if any one of you wants to tackle that before we wrap.
No, thank you for saying that. I think we feel the same way. And it was a difficult process of getting there, but then when those individuals came in, we knew that we had found the right people, and they exceeded our expectations.
It's great. It really feels like a family, and I can relate, and I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I can't wait to see the rest, and maybe there'll be a season 2. Thank you so much to all my monetary supporters, my members, and my Patreons. Love you guys.